Good morning, everyone, and those of you joining us on the CBS Sports Network. We are live from the Billabong Pipe Masters in loving memory of Andy Irons. Day 8 of the event window, and we could potentially see a world champion crowned today. But before we get to the call and find out if round 3 is going to get underway, we have a big show for you. We're going to revisit the world title scenarios heading into round 3. We're also going to be checking in with Pete Mel. He's live in the lineup, and then we'll be having a couple of very special guests on the show, actually, a couple of tour veterans and super rivals, Joel Parkinson and Kai Ottz. But first up, I want to say a big good morning to Ross Williams, former CT surfer, Strider Wazalewski, big wave charger. How are you, boys?
Good morning. Morning, boys.
Couldn't be better.
The world title showdown is starting to heat up. I think we've been looking at these scenarios for such a long time, since Portugal, basically kind of dreaming up what could unfold here at the Pipe Masters, but it's really heating up now. Round 3 is underway, and you've been looking at the numbers early this morning, Ross, and it's kind of scary how close this title race is, especially between the top 3.
It really is. It is a tight race, and look at the numbers. There's a handful of ways to kind of crunch it and see how Medina could win, but obviously that top 3, these guys are really bunched together. And De Souza, we've been talking, all week long, who's going to match up with Jamie O'Brien, who's going to match up with Mason Ho. But you look at Adriano De Souza, and he's got Glenn Hall. So arguably, he has, nothing against Glenn Hall, but he has the easiest road out of this next round. On a day like today when that swell is really coming in big, it's supposed to, start hammering us by this afternoon. Guys like Jamie and Mason Ho are going to be really tough to beat.
Yeah, I'm coming from it at the underdog's view, and really kind of, I love that, right? I love Jamie O'Brien winning. I love Mason Ho winning. You really do. You look at the draw, and that top side looks super heavy. You got Slater, John. You got all these amazing surfers up there, Medina. But you really look at the bottom. I mean, Joel Parkinson, Pipe Master, Jeremy Flores, Pipe Master. It's not going to be a walkthrough for Adriano either. So it's going to be one of those things where you're going to see guys meet up with Adriano, and he's going to have to do really well. He's got to get past that 9th round. And Medina really is the spoiler to me. Medina's the guy that could come through this thing, and he's got all conditions handled, and he's the one guy that looks like he could come through, march through, win this thing.
None of the contenders have gotten through this year without falling out of the 3rd round at some point during the season. Is it completely unimaginable that the top 4 contenders bow out in the 3rd round and Julian Wilson goes on to win this contest?
It's not. I mean, anything can happen, especially at Pipe. And again, focusing on Jamie O'Brien and Mason Ho, and what's going to make guys like that so tough to beat. We haven't seen real Pipe yet in this event. We saw real Pipe during the trials, during the Invitational, but to be honest, the first couple of rounds was in medium-sized backdoor, where guys like Felipe and stuff, it's going to be easier for them because they can go right and and have a heat that's much more manageable and easier to kind of get those scores rather than hopefully what we get this afternoon, which is 10-foot pipe.
Yeah, well, when it comes up, right, when you have that sucking, the draw of a new swell coming onto the pipeline reef, there's nothing there. It just takes all the water off of it. It's the most dangerous time and scenario you could possibly have. So guys like Jamie, guys like Mason Ho, they're going to be actually kind of reveling in it because they're going to know exactly which wave to catch, which one not to go for. It's just going to be one of those things where the boys, look, Mick Fanning, he's a champion. These guys are gnarly. Toledo, he's going to be shaky. I'll tell you right now. If it's big and it's drawing off that reef and he's staring at that reef, it's going to be hard for him. It's
going to be great to watch it all unfold. Let's find out if it can go down today. We'll check in with Rosie Hodge. Rosie, what's the call?
Yeah, thank you, Ronnie. Well, this morning, Kieran, we know that there's swell on the way. It doesn't seem like the waves have rocked up to the party this morning. What's the call?
Yeah, we're still monitoring that kind of arriving. It's just kind of hit the buoys, so buoy 1, which is about 8 hours or more away, depending on how fast that thing's moving. So we're not sure if it's going to arrive, but we're going to come back. We're not going to run right now. We'll be on hold until 11:45. We want to make sure that we're not walking away from today unless we really have to. It'd be really important to get something going this afternoon, and we're hoping that swell, if it is delayed, it'll sort of push into Thursday as well, and that's a good thing. We're going to need Thursday if we don't run today. So there's a couple of variables there, but still looking like a really good day tomorrow.
All right, Kieran, and just talk to us as a former competitor about that anticipation. The swell's going to be bombing. That this round 3 is so important. So just tell me about the energy that the competitors will be feeling waiting for those 10-foot bombs to arrive.
Yeah, for sure. Probably was a little flat this morning after they woke up and saw the ocean was pretty small, and it was expected to kind of already be here and building all day. So right now I guess they'll just be preparing and hoping that we, fingers crossed, that something comes by midday. If not, then we're almost certain we're on tomorrow, and that'll be exciting too. Everyone will go to sleep tonight knowing that we're going to get up and have great waves.
Well, there you have it, boys. 11:45. We will be back for another call, but we will be catching the Surfline forecast with Peter Mel. He's in the water behind me. He'll be taking us through it. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. You are watching Dawn Patrol. Ronnie, Ross and Strider here, and we have just got the official word. We're going to go on hold to 11:45 a.m. and see if this swell fills in out there in the lineup. Getting a beat on the conditions and the energy is Peter Mel. Pete, what are you sensing? Is the swell on the way?
Well, we can sense it in the water, yes. There's a little bit of energy. There isn't a lot of waves, but when you can feel the swell kind of move underneath me, it's pushing me in towards the reef, and that's usually a good sign that the energy is there. Of course, that buoy one, only 6 feet, 10 seconds right now. If you dive into a little deeper, get into that spectral density, you can start to see that 20-second and 20-plus second interval, which is that sign of the first beginnings of that swell.
Any of the world's best, the title contenders out there warming up still?
Actually, no. None of the title contenders. Bede was out this morning. Got Kaimana Henry from Maui. He's out here holding it down, always does at Pipeline here. But overall, no one else really giving it a go. There have been a lot of those surfers throughout the late days, though, getting their time in.
Hey, Pete, tell us about the science behind that notorious double-up, that weird suck-out we see with the new swell building at Pipe and Backdoor on that shallow reef.
Yeah, well, you guys were talking about it this morning, but the idea behind it is the 20-second interval, that longer interval, is faster. It moves over the top of other swells. So when you have a little bit of swell in the water, like this little north swell that we have left over, the new swell overruns it, and it'll over the top of waves, and that's when you see that double up. It's much more energy. It's faster. It makes Pipeline really, really dangerous. So talking about trying to wait till 11:45 and seeing what we'll see at that point in time, we all know that when you surf Pipeline on a coming up swell, it becomes the most dangerous time to surf Pipeline.
Pete, run us through the Surfline forecast and what you think we're going to see this afternoon.
Well, you take a look here at the Surfline forecast, the map here. It shows that storm, which is actually one of the bigger storms that we've had in the Pacific this winter. And one of the things that's interesting is that we had a buoy that sits up there at the Aleutian Islands that read one of the highest readings ever. So that's something to be taking note, is that we have this storm. It's very strong, so it's going to be coming our way. The sideband energy, as you see, the energy is going to be picking up through today. That's what we'll see. That's why we're waiting till 11:45 to make sure that we're not going to miss a half day of good surf. I think it's a good call. And then if you look at the rest of that waiting period here, this swell is it until the end of the waiting period. So we want to get use of all of that. Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have solid surf. So good stuff on hand. Hopefully we can have some action today. But my thoughts are I think we're going to wait it out today and then maybe get back here tomorrow, and it'll be pumping tomorrow.
Sounds good, Pete. Thank you for the update from the lineup there. Ross, it's good having Pete out there. He makes sense of all those graphs and everything. All I see is just pretty colours and a couple of 5 and 6 foot markers.
Pete Mel is the big wave commissioner. He has to really dive into those maps all the time. He has to dissect those big low pressures that create those big swells that he's constantly chasing.
Yeah, he's been diving into those things. Him and Jamie Mitchell were looking at him constantly, and he just revels in it. And I wonder if the fact that those other guys weren't out in the water this morning was because they didn't want to get hurt, because it's so shallow out there.
Yeah.
I mean, those right-handers just drain out on a completely dry reef. You can imagine running 15 miles an hour and just body surfing over some gravel.
Great to have you guys on the show this morning. Get a good seat. Stick around, because Kai Ottz and Joel Parkinson are on the show next. Welcome back to Dawn Patrol. We are joined by a couple of the tour's old dogs, Joel Parkinson and Kai Ottz. Joel, the reason we got you on the show is obviously there's a world title showdown unfolding, but for you two guys, there's something bigger at stake here, something huge. What is it?
Well, a few months ago, I mean, Kai was in front of me, giving me a bit of crap about her on the ratings. So to inspire us both and get us kind of moving along, we said we'd come up with a bet at the end of the year, whoever finished higher in the ratings. And we've been travelling together all year and staying together, so kind of just a bit of a push along. And now it just happens to be round 3. Me and old mate here
couldn't be better.
Yeah, it's a showdown. This is bigger than the world title, this heat.
All the boys, especially the Australian crew, are pretty invested in this battle. What's everyone's feeling? Who are they backing?
Me, of course, because it's West Swell.
Are you kidding me?
It's going to be...
Backdoor works good all right, so the West Swell, it'll be fine.
He even tried to snake me to sit here. He wanted to sit closer to you, and he tried to get the inside. It was like, he's trying to vibe me.
I thought I was going to have to do the Dana White and sit between you guys, but we saw your Instagram post today, and well, the loser has to post 5 photos, is that right, on Instagram?
Yeah.
Of the winner of the heat. That's not bad, but I reckon we can up the ante a little bit. It seems a little bit safe for me, like, big deal. 5 posts, like, you're good mates. Here's what I'm thinking. The loser has to chair the winner to their post-heat interview.
He wanted to do that. I don't know if I could lift him, mate. I've had neck problems all my life.
Oh.
No, I'm up for it.
Oh, okay. I'm so over his whinging that I'm so ready to do it. So.
Shake on it.
Deal.
Okay, so the loser
Done.
is going to chair the winner to the post-heat interview. That sounds good to me. Let's just reflect back quickly, just to give a little bit of insight. You guys have only just recently become really good mates.
Yeah.
But you've always
for years.
you've always had a good rivalry. It kind of started at J-Bay Ottz. It's a heat that you don't stop talking about, even though you've had heats with perfect
J-Bay's
tens.
not too bad.
Are we really going to go to this heat?
All the way back to 2009, the
Can we get
semi-finals.
Richie Porter? I want a head judge up here because he says I got ripped off or ripped on.
He's been very favourable with the judges for a long time, and everyone knows it.
This is going to be a good battle.
There's the one in Portugal. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I hit out kind of down the beach and got a couple of scores that may have been overscored, and that was one heat I give you.
One heat he gives me.
1 out of 8. But
Yeah, no, J-Bay he's pretty hard to beat at J-Bay. I don't really care about that one, but definitely...
We've heard about it for 10 years and you don't care about it right now on TV?
I love it.
this is the matchup for round 3 here at the Billabong Pipe Masters. The loser will be chairing the winner to the post-heat interview.
I'm going to need help.
Yeah, well,
you
mate,
seen how fat he's gotten?
is here. I saw them down at
You seen
Lele's
how much
last
weight
night.
he's put on? I'm going to need help for sure. Are you kidding?
You look pretty fit to me. But a lot of history between you two, and Kai, just the one win. That must hurt.
That was the one he got ripped on too.
One win only up there.
Only one man-on-man win.
Oh, they don't count 3-maners.
No one counts 3-maners. You've actually had a lot of heats too, 20 CT heats, but only 9 of them have been head-to-head. What we want to do now, though, is reflect on this year. I've got to say, there's been a lot of low points for you guys, but Kai, you've had some amazing results. You had a great string of quarterfinal finishes, starting with Fiji, and we've got some vision here. But you
Probably
also
me
took
wiping out, won't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to show. Everyone loves to see a bit of blood, but have a look at this. Just take us through that run of results.
Yeah, I mean, I basically was stinking it all year. The waves didn't really help. That's me.
There it is.
Oh, there's a definite chance I could have made it somewhere there.
Oh,
Doubt it.
look at him.
Look at me. Oh gosh. Yeah, that hurt. That was horrible. But yeah, I mean, I was stinking at the start of the year, and then I just had to pull my finger out. I love good waves, and their waves turned on a bit through that middle part of the year, and it helped me out.
You were still injured at this point too, so you're kind of pushing through some pain.
Yeah, definitely. I was in and out of the. Look how happy I am.
Look at that's a pain face right there.
That was round 3. It was a really, really good heat with. Round 2 with Jadson Andre, and we both had. I think Jadson had like 2 9s as well. It was a really, really hard heat. Happy to get through it.
I struggle to see when you're happy and when you're sad sometimes.
Hey, it's just emotion in the moment, mate.
Well, Joel, come on, give him a chance. Joel, you've had a pretty interesting year too. I can't remember a year where you haven't got into some semi-finals and finals. We know it's been a long time since your last win, but just reflect on this year and tell us what's been going wrong.
No, I honestly
I know
couldn't.
they stopped doing cutbacks this year.
I have no idea. I've had some really average heats with waves, and I definitely aren't as motivated when the waves aren't good. You have Fiji and this kind of stuff. I love it, and when the waves are good, I'm kind of in the right frame of mind, and when the waves aren't, I'm not, and it's something I've got to get over. See this one, Otto? See this one? Look at that one, brother.
How much for this one? How much for this one?
I don't know. You remember the score, Ottz?
Yeah, it was low 10.
Okay, perfect.
But you've had some highlights of your own, though.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't been a great year, but just.
This is when Cuddies came back into vogue.
Keep telling me that's all I got.
Mate, we know that you're shaping up for a big season, Joel, and looking for a strong finish. Obviously, we've seen a lot of strong campaigns started on the back of the Billabong Pipe Masters.
Definitely, I hope so. We get a couple of good days of waves coming, and that's always what's getting me fired up. So hopefully get over him and get down to the end of the contest.
Love it. All right, well, we're going to keep the boys on show. We're going to talk about the World Title Showdown after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are loving having round 3 rivals Joel Parkinson and Kai Ottz on the show this morning in anticipation of a huge clash. The loser is going to chair the winner to their post-heat interview. It's going to be fun to watch. But Kai, we've also got an amazing world title showdown. First time we've had 6 surfers. Obviously, we lost Owen, which was a huge disappointment for him and for all of us. But still, the show continues and all the contenders still alive in the 3rd round. What are your thoughts?
My money's on Mick. I just think he's got it. I've never seen anyone prepare like him. I stayed with him this year with Joel in Fiji. He blew my mind. His preparation kind of woke me up a bit to what's actually needed to make heats, and he's a big moment surfer. I watched him surf a wave 3rd round at France. It was one of the most crazy things I've ever seen, to actually attack a wave with 10 seconds to go, needing, I think it was an 8 or more, and I just thought right then and there, that's his title.
Mick's the guy then for you, but who's his major threat in your eyes?
Obviously, it's Jamie. That's the if he gets through that heat, he wins the title. That's the only way it happens. That's the maths on it. So, yeah, he overcomes Jamie. You get so much confidence out of that.
Joel, what about for you as far as the world title, the other world title contenders for Mick? Obviously, you're backing Mick to win this thing as well.
Yeah, definitely on Mick's side for sure. But it seems to me like maybe the balls might be in all the other boys' courts right now. I think Philippe on adjusted points right now is the world number 1. So, but you forget about all that stuff, and because it doesn't matter until what happens out here over the next day and a half. And I think, as Kai said, Mick's preparation and big game. He's a big match player, and he's been in this position before. I see Gabriel as the other big threat.
Yeah.
He's the guy I'd be really worried about. If Gabriel, the way the draw is, Gabriel's he's on a hard side, but he'll get through heats quite easily out here. He's one of the best guys. So between Mick and Gabby, I can see this going down to.
Okay, one other thing, mentally, what's Mick got to do to overcome Jamie? Because obviously there's a lot of talk about Jamie being the favourite in that heat. Does that change once priority comes into play and there's 2 guys sitting in a lineup?
It's the hardest heat Jamie will probably ever surf too, I think you can't just say because Mick's paddling out a pipe against a pipe specialist, it's an easy heat for Jamie. Mick is amazing out there as well, but Mick's strategy and heat plan, I'm sure Mick's probably thought about it 20 times. How do I beat this guy? And he's got 20 different game plans, and he'll find the right one on the right conditions.
Kai, in the past, it's been hard for younger surfers to break through with big results at the Pipe Masters. It's really been an event that experience has played a big factor in.
Yeah. I don't know. I know I see Gabby out here a lot. I haven't really seen Philippe out here that much this season. So, it's all experience. I've been coming to Hawaii for 12 years and I still really struggle to get a set on a crowded day at all. I don't actually free surf it that much anymore. I did when I was young.
You must have been stoked to get this one then in your heat.
Yeah, totally. That's just a dream, And I fluked that. I was 3rd priority on the way back out, and that just happened to come to me. But you just don't get waves that often out here. But you still have to sit out there. I remember hearing Rob Machado years ago say he just paddles out and he'll sit around. He'll watch where the good guys are taking off. He'll look in, get his lineups. Even if he's not catching waves, he's putting time in out there. And I did that for a long time, and I think it helps. And once priority comes into it. All the tour guys are really, really good at this wave, and once you get to paddle in where you want to paddle in, it's a different story.
We saw Freddie P get a 10-point ride earlier in the year. He dropped the mic and wrapped things up with his career. Joel, if you get a 10-point ride, are you going to stick around next year?
Oh, definitely. I'll be here, mate. I'm here for a few more years. As long as Old Bones is here and I'm kicking his butt, I'm here.
And this is CJ's 10-point ride from early on in the event. It's been fun watching CJ's lap of honour.
Absolutely. And I was so glad that he got a 10 at Tahiti. His 2 favourite waves, he's had a 10 at them both. So glad to see CJ do that.
Yeah. Very quickly, I just want to have a quick chat about the first heat of round 3. Gabriel Medina up against Geordie Smith. Geordie, we've missed him this year, obviously. We saw some of his power on display in the 2nd round. How do you like Geordie's chances in that clash, Kai?
Look, he's going to have to go pretty hard. Depending on how much the swell comes in, the swell's going to be west. Geordie might find himself on his backhand. I've seen him tube ride very well, but Gabriel's got some kind of crazy movement in the tube where he seems to make the impossible. I've watched it through Fiji, through Tahiti. He's got to he can stay really low and he pumps really hard, and he seems to make unmakeable waves, and I think it's probably bit more in his favour.
Is there going to be any backdoor opportunity, Joel, out there in the lineup if we do get competition underway today?
Upcoming swells, sometimes always a little hard to find a good right, but that will be rare, but they will come. Hopefully, you know, especially earlier on, I guess the swell when it's not too big yet, and there'll be a good right. And as Kai said, though, Gabriel's a freak. He'll go right too, you know. So, yeah. Well, there's going to be one of these. There's going to be one upset, and hopefully it's that one.
All right, boys. Well, great to have you on the show. Don't miss Heat 8 of Round 3. It's going to be a great battle between these two. Well, after the break, if you're watching on CBS Sports Network, make sure you stick around because we're going to have the highlights from the Swatch Women's Pro at Trestles.